Coming up on the final Sports Extra of the semester, the men's soccer team is going to compete for the cup after a thrilling quarterfinal win.
Tulane was too lame to stay on the floor with the men's basketball team.
And Carolina's women's team looked like Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde in 2 games, but managed to win both. All that and so much more. Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Media and Journalism, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
Name a more iconic duo, Final Fours and Carolina athletics. I'll wait. All right, didn't think so. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Peyton Walker.
And I'm Abby Presley. And what has been a somewhat disappointing semester for Carolina teams, one team is making a deep run into the postseason. The men's soccer team made the most of a chance to advance to its 2nd consecutive College Cup on Saturday night. And for more, we bring in reporter Colleen Brown live from where it all went down in Cary. Colleen, does this team have what it takes to win it all?
Abby, just about 48 hours ago, this field behind me was filled with Tar Heel fans waiting to know that exact same thing. As Carolina took on Fordham in the NCAA quarterfinals. After a scoreless first half, UNC took the lead midway through the second. Let's see that goal again. Watch as Zach Wright fires a shot, just catching the inside of the far post, putting the Heels up 1-0. But a minute and a half later, Fordham answers with a free kick. UNC's Alex Comcia deflects the shot into the net, tying the game. But the Heels aren't done. Zach Wright gets the ball deep in the corner, crosses right in front of the goal, and Alan Wynn is there with the diving header. Heels advance to the College Cup with a 2-1 win. Midfielder Jeremy Kelly says an ugly win is still a win.
I think it's just about getting to the Final Four, and we're happy to do it however we do it. Probably wasn't our best game, but we kind of grinded it out and did enough to win.
And now that the Heels have secured their ticket to the semifinals in Philadelphia, let's take a look at that bracket. It's down to the Final Four. Indiana will be some tough competition for the Heels. The Hoosiers are the highest seed left at number 2. If UNC wins, the Heels will face either Stanford or Akron in the finals on Sunday. And Abby, you asked me if I think that this team has what it takes to win it all. Well, these Heels have me convinced. Indiana will be some tough competition. But after a loss in last year's College Cup, these Heels are out for redemption. Sound familiar? Back to you.
That's reporter Colleen Brown live from Cary. Thanks, Colleen.
The number 13 men's basketball team took on a scrappy Davidson squad in a very loud Spectrum Center in Charlotte on Friday. The first half was a back-and-forth affair as Davidson came out hot from three-point land, and Roy Williams was not too pleased with the performance. The Tar Heels took early punches and methodically wore down the Wildcats on the glass, out-rebounding them 54-23. But the Heels turned up the effort in the second half, including 3 bombs from behind the arc from Joel Berry, and Luke May was running the floor all night long, finishing at the rim, adding 24 points and a career-high 17 rebounds. Late in the second half, Carolina went on an 11-1 run led by Theo Pinson, who gave the Heels their first double-digit lead with this nifty finish at the rim. And Luke May finished things off with this dunk that ignited the crowd. Carolina wins 85-75. The Tar Heel faithful were enthusiastic to see their team return to action on Sunday afternoon versus Tulane. In the opening sequence, Theo Pinson started things off with this beautiful slam, and Theo's dunk set the tone for the remainder of the contest. Luke May continued his strong play, finishing with 22 points and 10 rebounds, his 5th double-double of the year. Carolina jumped out to a commanding 21-4 lead in the first half, with everything going the Tar Heels' way. After the half, it was the same story for UNC. The Tar Heels' explosive offense was simply too much as they demolished the Green Wave's hope for an upset, decisively winning 97-73. A good week for Carolina basketball, and for more, let's bring in basketball analyst Paul Beam. Paul, how impressed with the team are you so far this season?
Well, Peyton, with the historically bad performance against Michigan State aside, I've been incredibly impressed with the offensive efficiency of this team. One of the biggest factors in the team's efficiency is the way these guys pass on the interior. Accurate interior passing is crucial on a Roy Williams coach team because it sets up easy baskets for the big guys, like that dunk right there. Interior passes are made through tight windows of opportunity, so the passer needs to be quick and decisive, which has been a common theme for the Heels this season. Once a team establishes paint dominance, defenses will begin to sag off shooters, which opens up kick-out passes for wide-open shots. Speaking of passing, the best passer on the team, Theo Pinson, has stopped taking threes, thank goodness, and is starting to attack the paint. Pinson is a poor three-point shooter, shooting 20% on the year, so he's adjusted and is going on rack attacks every time he touches the ball. He's a great finisher, and attacking the rim has freed up his fantastic playmaking ability. You'll see here where he draws the defense and frees up Kenny Williams for a cut to the rim. Pinson delivers a perfect bounce pass for an easy deuce. The Heels are much better team when Pinson goes to the bucket, so Theo, keep going strong to the hole. You might have noticed throughout this segment that I'm using the word efficiency a lot. The Ken Pomeroy Efficiency Rating Rankings is a favorite tool of all college basketball analysts because it's a good indicator for future success. Carolina is currently ranked 9th in KenPom efficiency rating. While it's still really early, it should be noted that since the first year of the ranking in 2002, only 5 teams have made the Final Four despite being ranked outside the top 20. The most important thing, in the 16 years KenPom has been around, no team outside the top 20 has won the title.
So, Paul, what I'm hearing for you is you think Carolina's going to see another national championship this year?
Not quite, Peyton. All 3 of Roy's championship teams ranked in the top 3 in the KenPom ranking, and in 2005 and 2009, UNC was ranked number 1. So the team has some work to do, but it's definitely an encouraging sign for fans to see the Heels in the top 10 this early in the season.
Well, that's Boss basketball analyst Paul Beam dunking some knowledge on us. Thanks so much, Paul.
The NCAA allows universities to award only 13 scholarships per year. But after losing several players on scholarship this past year, the UNC basketball program had an extra scholarship to give out. Who did Coach Roy Williams give it to? Here's Cambria Haro with the story.
Scholarships don't go to just any student athlete. It takes a special individual to earn such an honor.
A lot of times talent alone isn't what we try and recruit. We go out and we recruit good young men as well as good basketball players.
After helping win a national championship as a walk-on, sophomore Shea Rush is now on scholarship.
Carolina was kind of my dream school growing up as a kid. I'd always wanted to go there. Coach Williams knew who I was, and we had been in touch as I grew up and told me that they'd love to have me in the program, but they just didn't have a scholarship at the time.
Coach Roy Williams changed that at the beginning of the season.
When he first told me, it was at a football game, and we have a team meal before every football game. So we were all at the team meal, and he brought us all together and said, hey, obviously we have a scholarship that we need to give out. I've decided to give it to Shea. And it was just neat being with my teammates because they were there and they were super happy for me. They felt like I'd worked really hard for it.
Rush felt that he had the talent to work himself into being a scholarship level player.
I always have high expectations of myself. I set the bar high, and I think that just moved that bar even higher, and I want more of myself, and it definitely entices me to work harder as well.
Rush says whether he had a scholarship or not, Carolina basketball made him feel right at home.
Being embraced as a walk-on, that was super special. I was nervous coming into this situation because these guys were better than me, are better than me, so that's always nerve-wracking. But at the same time, this program's so inclusive that I've always felt like, I was a part of something.
Now playing for Carolina as a scholarship athlete, Rush feels more valued and hopes his hard work will show throughout the rest of the season. I'm Cambria Haro reporting.
Rush came oh so close to giving the Tar Heels biscuits against Tulane, but a corner 3 missed in the final seconds against Tulane. Come on, man.
The women's basketball team took on the Hartford Hawks Friday afternoon in Carmichael, the first of 2 games in 3 days. The Heels controlled the paint all game long. Watch as Janelle Bailey finishes through contact and converts the 3-point play. Bailey also got it done on the defensive end as she swats away the inbounds pass twice. Hartford kept it close though, trailing by only 5 going into the final quarter. But the Heels converted on their first 3 possessions of the quarter and never looked back. Carolina finishes on an 18-4 run and takes the game 90-70. And Jamie Cherry was hot from the perimeter against App last night with 2 3-pointers back-to-back. Let's take another look. Key dishes it out and bang! Cherry does it again. Not only was the perimeter hot, UNC's bigs did their job in the paint. Look how Janelle Bailey powerhouses through. App did put up a fight with a scrappy defense and quick guards, but it just wasn't enough to take down the Heels. Carolina finished the game with some grade A defense and hot hands, taking a 56-43 win. A major key for the Tar Heels to extend their winning ways will be the play of Taylor Coonan. As Destiny Walker tells us, Coonan is finding her groove.
Taylor Coonan scored a career high against Minnesota and says the game is finally starting to flow for her.
Getting into where I feel comfortable, I was scoring at all three levels, whether it was a layup, mid-range, or three. So it was nice to see the ball go through the hoop and everything kind of translated, and we all played really well, and my teammates did an awesome job finding me and giving me the ball in places where I was going to be successful.
Her coach also notices her development.
It's really impressive to see the change that she's made from her freshman year to this year. Every game, she just plays better and better. She's a competitor. She has a tremendous desire to be a great player.
One of the main areas that Coonan is focused on is improving her rebounding.
I've been trying to average a double-double rebounding-wise because as a team we do need to rebound, so I try to strive for that. Coach Hatchell has really been on the team about rebounding being tough, having us deliver the first punch rather than us getting hit first in a game. So coming out of the game aggressive, rebounding, and playing together has really been a big emphasis.
Coonan says that as long as the Heels improve on the boards and remain focused, they can be successful.
We need to step up our game in rebounding. That's always tough for us, but I know that we put a lot of emphasis on that. And I know that, we have the potential. We have awesome shooters. We're all very skilled. So as long as we can put that together, I honestly think that we can reach all of our goals that we want. I know we're reaching for a championship, so I think we can do that as long as we stay together as a team.
That will be a huge turnaround for a team that has struggled through so much adversity in the past several years. I'm Destiny Walker, reporting.
Coonan and the Heels will be back in action in Carmichael tomorrow night against Presbyterian. One big-name UNC alum made himself a household name recently.
Jerry World turned into Switzerland on Thursday Night Football.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday. And I love tacos.
Connor is struggling in school.
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend.
One of our fondest memories of UNC football was the Switzer and Trubisky combo. And even though they've gone their separate ways, they're still making noise in the NFL. Ryan Switzer is just doing Ryan Switzer things, and I'm talking an 83-yard punt return. Switz dipped and dived through the entire defense, and of course, well, a flip into the end zone because why not? Next up, good old Mitchell threw a bullet for a touchdown. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. And finally, Kareem Martin picked off Jared Goff at the line for his first career interception. Let's just say the pro Heels aren't disappointing. From professional Heels back to current Heels, our washed-up high school soccer star and reporter Cam Newirth took his talents to the football field and looked a whole lot different afterward.
Freeman Jones, the redshirt junior kicker, finished off his 2017 campaign on a high note, hitting 5 of his last 6 attempts and knocking in his 2 career longs in the process. So, I decided to dust off my old cleats and give him a run for his money. So, you may know Freeman for his kicking skills on the field, but what you might not know is he has some skills off the field. Let's go check it out.
Let's do it.
That's right, the kicker turned barber, and it all started in high school.
3 of my buddies in high school, we would all just cut each other's hair. As kind of, at first it was like a joke, like see what kind of dumb stuff we could do and then cut it all off.
So, call me trustworthy or stupid, but I subjected myself to a blind haircut, and just how did it turn out? Well, you might want to look.
This is the first goofy haircut like this I've ever done. So this is what we're going for. Okay. Right?
Yep.
Not perfect, but this is what we ended up with.
Sunglasses and a mustache. I guess when the haircut's free, you can't expect too much more out of it. In Chapel Hill, I'm Camden Newworth, reporting.
You know, Peyton, I don't know which is worse, Cam's haircut or that atrocious kicking of his.
Oh, definitely the kicking. Either way, I was there and can attest to the fact that Freeman did clean it up afterward and gave him a nice high and tight, very military.
Very military. Well, go Heels, go America.
Nearly 500,000 athletes play high school football in our state every year. Only 6% of those make it to D1 schools like UNC, and some don't make it because of injuries suffered in high school. Joseph Collins told our Lex Suarez that he hopes an injury doesn't derail his college gridiron dreams.
During high school, that's when I started having problems with my shoulder.
And those problems led to a season-ending injury for Collins last year.
When I got to the field, I palpated and felt that it was dislocated. And actually, me and Dr. Alioto were able to reduce it back on the sideline.
Collins went to visit Dr. Richard Alioto and took x-rays of his shoulder. The news wasn't what the junior defender wanted to hear.
When I popped it back in place that night, he actually chipped the bone. So it was a dislocation. So I had to have surgery for it, and plus I had to heal the bone.
Surgery, ending Collins' junior season and causing emotional turmoil for months to come.
I was getting mad at everything, and I was just out of it. I didn't want to see football no more. I just didn't want to do it no more.
These feelings aren't unique to Collins. Many student athletes develop depression and anxiety after being forced out of the game.
Some people have their identity through sports. So when they lose their starting position or when they get benched or when they can't play sports anymore, it's kind of depressing for them.
We probably see each school maybe have 2 or 3 season-ending injuries. Career-ending injuries is a different story. That's pretty rare.
Coach Wall has only seen 2 career-ending injuries, and those were from reoccurring concussions in soccer. He says changes to athletic training approaches in the past few years have kept injuries down for athletes.
The biggest change overall has just been the emphasis on trying to do things before a person gets hurt.
Coach Wall says approaching strength and flexibility with, quote, prehab is important for athletes. A physician also joins the training staff at games, which gets care to athletes more quickly.
Getting to an athlete early on to know whether he can go back in the game or stay off the field, I think it's very valuable.
That's valuable because according to StopSportsInjuries.org, high school athletes account for an estimated 2 million injuries, 500,000 doctor visits, and 30,000 hospitalizations each year. Collins was back on the field for his senior season, and this time playing offense. He says seeing small improvements encouraged him to work to get back to where he was before the injury.
I trust my shoulder. I know it won't break on me or anything, because I've been working my tail off to get it where it's supposed to be.
He says by the time he's at a university next fall, he's going to be ready to walk onto the football team with a shoulder that's at 100%. In Clayton, Lex Suarez, Sports Extra.
Colin thinks he can play in college, but probably not D1. She's a force on the springboard, and people are taking notice.
One Carolina athlete is making a splash in the ACC.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. you're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
In the midst of complete turmoil in Knoxville, the UNC swimming and diving teams competed in the Tennessee Invitational. Senior Caroline Baldwin dominated the competition, winning 3 of her races, including a school record in the 100-meter backstroke. Unfortunately, Baldwin's success wasn't enough, as the women came behind in 3rd behind Tennessee and Duke. The men also struggled, coming in 5th out of 6 teams. The swimming and diving teams don't have another competition until after the holidays. UNC diver Alyssa Dawson is one of the best in the country, as evidenced by consecutive ACC Diver of the Week awards. Kaylee Padron has more about the springboard phenom.
Alyssa Dawson has made a huge splash at Carolina this season, but she has a bigger goal in mind.
I have some pretty lofty goals. I'm hoping to win ACCs, be All-American at NCAAs, which is top 8. And then I'm going to continue to train after I graduate. The most important thing is my love for the sport. I think that's what really motivates me, is that I want to reach my potential and I want to be the best that I can do.
Dawson's goals don't stop there.
Made Olympic trials in 2016 and was really close to the Olympics, so I'm hopeful that as long as I stay healthy and continue training, I should make it in 2020. So I'll just be focusing on training for that.
Coach ABEL Sanchez and her teammates think Dawson can get there.
I think she's one of the most talented kids. She's probably one of the most talented divers in the country, and I really think if she really sets her mind to it, I think she's capable of doing anything. The sky's the limit.
Alyssa's a really good role model for everyone. She's not only my teammate, but she's also one of my really close friends too. She can do anything she puts her mind to. I'd be rooting for her.
I've just been working hard alongside my teammates, and so it was super exciting to be Diver of the Week.
Watching her progress and grow as a person, as an athlete, means a lot, and to see her do very well. This is her senior year, and I think she's going to have a great senior year.
That great year could include an individual national championship if Dawson continues her steady improvement. In Chapel Hill, I'm Kaylee Padron reporting.
And Heels fans might have the special treat of seeing Alyssa compete for Team USA in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
As part of a team that runs the UNC Barstool Twitter account, 2 Carolina students started a podcast that discusses UNC athletics and the life of a college student. Luke Buxton has the story.
Quinn and Kirk's podcast, titled Heels on Wheels, isn't recorded in some fancy high-end recording studio, but instead in Kirk's dad's old car.
It's my 2008 Subaru Impreza. Her name is Sharon. She's wonderful. She's not the nicest car, but I think it speaks to kind of us as a podcast. We're making do what we have.
While the two seem to mesh really well on the podcast, because Quinn is a Boston sports fan and Kirk is a New York sports fan, the two didn't get along at first.
We were talking Jets-Pats, and I just hated him so much. We had this really, really angry discussion where I was just I hate the Patriots, and he's I don't really care about the Jets. I don't care about you, and it was really demeaning. I didn't like him. I really didn't like him. But I think we've come to realize our differences, and we definitely get along now.
They start every episode with a fake advertisement they use to make fun of something on campus.
This episode of Heels on Wheels is brought to you by old people at Carolina basketball games. Do you think sports events these days are just way too loud? Do you think students should be relegated to the upper deck where they can barely see and nobody can hear them? Then you'll love old people at Carolina basketball games.
So we just started writing, satirical ads to make fun of stuff around campus, and I don't know, we just kind of had fun with it and run with it.
Having released 9 podcasts, Quinn and Kirk has some bigger plans for the future.
Getting actual people into the car is going to be a great segment. We've reached out to a good amount of athletes. I just think it'd be a hilarious segment to have a guy sitting in the back of a car with us, like a 6'7" forward sitting in the back of it. Super impressive.
That would be quite the sight to see. I'm Luke Buxton, reporting.
You want to listen to the UNC Barstool broadcast? You can visit SoundCloud and search Heels on Wheels.
It was a semester full of spectacular plays.
We'll count down our 5 favorites from August to December.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
As a parent, I think it's tragic that 1 in 5 children struggles with hunger right here in America. But there is hope. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
It's the last show of the semester, and there were some pretty great highlights this fall.
Let's take a look back at the top 5 plays of the semester. Coming in at number 5 from the volleyball team, Catherine Esterly hits a massive kill into a Clemson player's face. Ouch. That was just one of Esterly's 78 kills on the season.
And at number 4 comes from the pitch. Check out Alessia Russo take this shot from outside the box, and it finds the back of the net over the keeper. Russo is only a freshman, so look for more goals like this in the future.
Number 3, we go to the gridiron. Anthony Ratliff-Williams receives the opening kickoff and tells the entire Pittsburgh special teams unit, "Get off me, little boy." He takes the kick all the way back for a touchdown, part of a 34-31 Heels win against Pitt, their 5th in a row in the series.
And at number 2, it's back to the pitch. Carolina and Fordham are tied at 1 until Alan Wynn comes flying in with this clutch header to break the tie. Wynn's goal proved to be the decider as the Heels advance to the College Cup for a straight 2nd year.
And at number 1, Stanford thinks Jalik Felton is just going to dribble out the clock for a W, but here comes Jalik for the hammer. He climbs the ladder and posterizes Trevor Stanback. Roy probably made him do some sprints for that one, but it was so worth it.
Wow, definitely some good moments from this season there. I think we could add a ton more to that list just of how incredible Carolina athletics is, wouldn't you say?
I agree. It's been fun to watch. Well, that does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching.
Have a good night.